Academy Award nominee Scarlett Johansson is known the world over for major roles in close to 40 films over the past 3 decades. Recently, she became the highest-grossing lead actor in Hollywood. She's now taking on a new role as director. Her debut film, Eleanor the Great, hits theaters tonight. I met up with her in New York earlier this week to discuss this latest chapter in her career. It's for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Because we've been coming here every Friday for the last 16 years. Can you count to 16, Charlie?
It's a celebration of deep devotion, a friendship for the ages.
Look at you.
Paired with the grief that stems from sudden loss and a lie that ties it all together. Actress June Squibb, who turns 96 this November, stars as Eleanor, who one day accidentally walks into the wrong room at her New York Jewish Community Center and ends up adopting her late friend's Holocaust story as her own.
I was wondering if I could feature you in my article.
I have to approach my job with empathy and then let the audience, let them have their own feelings about the characters and what they do.
It's the feature directorial debut for Scarlett Johansson.
I hope that at the end of the film, the audience has empathy for Eleanor. You know, I certainly do. I think people are complicated.
Eleanor can be bawdy and brash.
Say goodbye to Melvin for me. Oh, we had such a wonderful time the other night. He's very strong.
You're so full of Eleanor.
Yeah?
And an imposing, often grating presence on the daughter and grandson she's staying with.
She's gonna live forever.
There is in Eleanor this main character who's not there to compliment anyone else or play off of someone else. You don't see women like that a lot on the big screen. Why don't we?
Characters like Eleanor in real life are, you know, often invisible in communities. Why? I don't know. I think people are afraid of their own mortality, and people that are aging are a reminder of that potentially for people. You know, and it's like, I don't know. I think we live in an aging society, and so there's more interest, I think, in aging now than has been in the past. And I think movies like this film and actors like June, you know, help to move that, you know, cause forward.
After the devastating loss of her best friend Bessie, Eleanor fills the void with an unlikely new bond, a college student reporter played by Erin Kellyman.
What's it like being 94?
I feel the same way I did when I was 16.
Who turns to Eleanor and other stories of survival from a Holocaust support group to help her wrestle with her own grief after her mother's death.
You have to talk about the things that make you sad. Jews fled Poland and never talked about what they went through. They just kept it moving, and there's some good in that. But it can just eat you alive.
Central to the story and to the character of Eleanor is her Jewish faith, right? Her relationship to her faith and your decision in key parts of the movie to, as I understand it, to cast real Holocaust survivors playing themselves in some of those scenes. Why was that important to you to do?
You know, I never even questioned it. I just never thought about casting actors for those roles. You know, part of it again was just the desire to ground the story in even a deeper emotional significance. Several years ago, I participated in Finding Your Roots, and I discovered that I knew that I had relatives that died in the Warsaw Ghetto, but I didn't know the whole story of it.
It makes me feel more deeply connected to that side of myself, that side of my family.
He presented me with a paper, you know, that it was essentially like a death certificate for all of the people in my family that I had lost there.
How much did you think about your own family story as you were telling this family story?
It was impossible not to think about my own family story because it lives within me. That's sort of all in my own DNA and all in all of my memories, and so the film is infused with that.
It's also informed by Johansson's own relationship with her grandmother, Dorothy Sloan, a kindergarten teacher, arts lover, and inspiration.
We had such a deep friendship and feeling sense of like sisterhood between us. We talked about everything. We talked about our bodies. We talked about our family. We talked about our fantasies. We talked about sex. We talked about politics. Like we really.
With your grandmother.
Yeah, with my grandmother. We had such a deep friendship. Reading this script and seeing this intergenerational friendship celebrated and like out in the open. It was so unique. It felt like something I wanted to explore artistically and something I feel like we should see more of.
That uniqueness is being well received. At the Cannes Film Festival premiere, Eleanor the Great received a 5-minute standing ovation.
I felt like the ovation was for the film, and it was also for June, I think. She's so extraordinary in the film, and it felt like, this really feels like a legacy performance for her.
Tell me about working with her, what that was like, and directing her in particular. Does she take direction well?
June is, she's such a sharp, very sinewy actor. She's just, she comes to set, she's been preparing for months, she has an idea of what she wants to do, and, her first take is fantastic. And then just keeps getting better from there.
The 40-year-old Johansson's evolution and dexterity have built a career most actors only dream of. From child star in The Horse Whisperer with mentor Robert Redford.
Well, you have a problem with that?
Isn't it, obvious?
To films like Lost in Translation.
How dare you compare my mothering to my mother?
Marriage Story and Jojo Rabbit. Even extending to action films like Jurassic World and across the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But directing was a dream she carried for years.
Part of my work is I read a lot of scripts, and I think having done it for such a long time, when I read a script, I see the entire film in my mind. This film inside and out, and it's my own, perspective on storytelling.
Me?
Johansson says she hopes the connective tissue in Eleanor's story offers a window into her life and a mirror for the audience watching.
We're all human, and I think I would hope that this story, allows the audience to let go of whatever judgment that they may have of Eleanor initially, and be able to reflect on themselves.
And remember, there's a lot more online, including a lightning round of questions with Scarlett Johansson, covering everything from her real-life superpowers to her latest Google search. That is on our YouTube page.